I have been feeling very disconnected from the Lord. And I sat down and I asked Him to clear my heart, clear my mind, and just speak to me. And I definitely feel very convicted from what He's shown me today. So I flipped to James 4 and I read the topic. It was warning about self confidence. And this wasn't the self confidence that I was thinking when I read this, but I'm just going to read it to you. Look here, you who say, today or tomorrow we are going to a certain town and we will stay there a year. We will do business there and make a profit. How do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like morning fog. It's here for a little while, then it's gone. What you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to do, we will live and do this or that. And that really convicted me because if I'm being honest, I've been so caught up in wanting my future to look like this, this, and this. Have a family, have a job, have a husband, all set in line, and I am like, for sure, God is going to provide this. But I've realized that I have been idolizing and putting it over God because I'm watching these romance movies, or I'm watching TV shows, or books, or just talking to my friends about relationships, to the point where it's controlling how I think, controlling how I act, and I'm becoming very impatient. And that is not what the Lord has planned for us. He tells us, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and do this or that. Otherwise, you are boasting. You are boasting about your own pretentious plans, and all such boasting is evil. Well, that was very convicting. We base what we want on what we can't have right now, or what we see from family members that are older, from cousins, from friends, from social media, from Instagram, from TikTok. That's what I've seen in so many people, that we always base it off of what we see. But the media is lying. Like, we can't base it just off of those little reels, those little videos, because that's just a snippet to make it look aesthetic and stuff. No. If it's from God, you'll have to fight for it. It's not just gonna show up and be perfect. But something else that struck me is that this social media stuff, it highlights so much stuff from the Bible about relationships, about spouses. Like with Jacob and Rachel, how Jacob waited 7 years to marry Rachel. That is highlighted so much by people because we're so in desperate need of a significant other. And we twist the words of the Bible in certain sections to help it to fit with our needs, with our life, but God doesn't design the Bible for that. He doesn't design it to make us feel good, to help it to relate strictly to our lives. He tells us to open our heart and open our mind to look through a lens of Him, to see the Bible in a different way, not through your life, but through the eyes of God. So when it says, be patient as you wait for the Lord's return, consider the farmers who patiently wait for the rains in the fall and in the spring. They eagerly look for the valuable harvest to ripen. You too must be patient. Take courage, for the coming of the Lord is near. Don't grumble about each other, brothers and sisters, or you will be judged. For look, the judge is standing at the door. And then it goes on about examples of people, of brothers and sisters, prophets, who spoke in the name of the Lord, who have been patient. We give great honor to those who endure under suffering. And one of those men is Job. Because Job, if you have not read this, Job has literally gotten his whole life stripped from him. Yet he is still living for God. He's still proclaiming God. That shows that, yes, his relationship, his family, his money, his whatever, yes, he loves those things, but he loves something more. He's not just living for those things. And it says, you can see how the Lord was kind to him at the end. At the end. So when he got everything back to him, God was generous. God was tenderhearted because he endured those struggles and the patient enduring and patient waiting for the Lord. And if we do that, and if we stop focusing so much on wanting a boyfriend, wanting a girlfriend, wanting a family, like, if we set our hearts on God, he will come through, and it might not be with what we're expecting. We aren't living to have pleasure. We aren't living to make ourselves feel good. We're living for God. And so many people get lost in what this world gives. I do too. I'm guilty of it. But we need to restart our minds. We need to focus on what is true. And something else that spoke to me is that jealousy and selfishness are not God's kind of wisdom. Such things are earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For wherever there is jealousy and selfish ambition, there you will find disorder and evil in every kind. So if you are so focused on a relationship that you get jealous, that you get mean to those who do, there's something wrong with that picture. Do we think that God is going to give us somebody, give us another person, when we don't even trust and rely in him? We just ask and ask and ask and ask God for stuff, but we forget that he wants a relationship with us. Because he put us on this earth not for those earthly things, but for something greater. So, that's all. That's all I wanted to say. And this is definitely out of my comfort zone by sharing stuff like this. But sometimes God puts us in uncomfortable positions. He makes us say uncomfortable things that may be offensive to others. But that is why God put us on this earth, to share the truth with others. So, thank you for watching, if you did. And if you're feeling the same that I did, if you're feeling disconnected or unmotivated, just force yourself. It sounds bad, but open your Bible, pray for an open heart, for an open mind, and just allow God to be there and to speak to you, because that's what he did for me. For sure. I did everything in James 4 and James 5. James is a great place to start, and Ephesians, and also Psalms is pretty good too. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.